So this is going to be a little off topic, but I just wanted to click on a link that we had in our content suggestions as a preview for what we're going to be talking about today. All right.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. We have an amazing show for everybody today. What do we have, Crystal?
Indeed we do. Washington just got very interesting. Whole showdown. Elon Musk, potential government shutdown. What does Trump think? A lot going on. Jeff Stein's going to join us to break down all of the madness and try to figure out where we are and what might happen next to the best of any of our ability. We also have an update. So the House apparently secretly voted to release that Matt Gaetz ethics report. So we've got Matt Gaetz' response. Why did they do it? What do we expect to learn? Break all of that down for you. We also have a new healthcare whistleblower coming forward at the same time that Kathy Hochul is setting up a potential hotline for any CEOs who feel threatened out there. So a lot of response there. We've got some new
Skip. Okay.
All friends are telling me, they're like, oh my God, Chalamet was amazing. He made all of these correct picks. It's pretty clear somebody coached him about it because he's a little primary, those House individuals.
Here we go.
Young guy who's coming up right now. Lordy, he's a better actor than him, for sure. Women would probably disagree with me, but anyway. Let's get to Jeff Stein, and let's talk about all of this government shutdown situation. Joining us now, Jeff Stein of the Washington Post, great friend of the show. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me back on, guys.
Absolutely. All right, so Jeff, let's break some of this down, man. It's been a wild turn of events. First, there was a continuing resolution that was a bipartisan deal. It was negotiated. Elon Musk takes to Twitter. He starts criticizing the deal. So does Veev Ramaswamy. J.D. Vance, Donald Trump all start to jump in. And it appears that Elon's threat to primary those House individuals who did vote for the CR appears to have been at least contributed to its downfall. That's what Fox News is reporting, at least. Let's take a listen to that. We'll get your reaction.
Tweets from Musk, has that complicated this?
Well, I mean, I think that there's always a lot of interest in what's happening up here, and
this is more than interest. They're telling people if they vote yes, they should be voted out.
The social media world is a part of our politics, and I think members have to expect that. There'll be a lot of hard votes in the next couple of years.
The fact is that, look, this is a sandwich. I don't know how else to say that. We're being forced into this position. They could have done a standalone. They did this because they knew that it would put members in this position to support it. We're damned if we do, we're damned if we don't.
Now, the bill has about $100 billion in disaster relief, nearly $30 billion to restock FEMA's coffers, and there are lots of health care provisions. Jamming everything together in one bill means some Republicans will not support Mike Johnson for Speaker in January.
Have any other of your colleagues said that they're not voting for Johnson? Express?
I've talked to a few who don't seem like they're going to vote for him. You have to ask them. I'm not going to betray anybody's position.
Will you just vote president, or will you vote someone else's name?
I'll vote for somebody else.
So, Jeff, there's been they've been roiled on Capitol Hill. It's now Thursday morning. Well,
so I just played this little bit of this just to illustrate that as of 8 days ago, Elon Musk was pressuring sitting members of Congress to shut down the government through Twitter. Darling of MAGA, Mr. Musk, has shown that he is, or was, the shadow president. The president who is actually pulling all the strings behind the scenes when Donald Trump can't get anything done. That's what Elon Musk has, over the past 8 days, seemed to be able to do. However, in the past couple of days, or mind you, the past 2 days, it seems like something else has happened.
Tonight, as President-elect Donald Trump is preparing for a widespread immigration crackdown when he takes office 25 days from now, we're seeing a crack between some of his top advisors and his MAGA base. Elon Musk and Veev Ramaswamy are both facing major blowback from their own supporters for not only backing, but encouraging offering more visas to highly skilled foreign workers. Over the Christmas holiday...
So, what we have here is the meltdown of two branches of the MAGA wing of American politics. MAGA Civil War, let's go. Yes, exactly. We are in a MAGA Civil War. The tech bros who love their H1B visas, and we'll get into what those are here in just a minute, all right? The tech bros who love H1B work visas and the rest of MAGA who fucking hate foreigners are going to war. All right. And who are the leaders of the different factions? Well, like they had right here, Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, the two guys who were put in charge of their own little kitty corner of Washington with the Doge Commission or the Doge Report or whatever the fuck they're going to be. Because they're not going to be an actual arm of the government. They're going to be an advisory board. So depending on what they end up doing, I guess we'll figure out what we're specifically going to be calling them, because they're not an actual department of the government, because Congress would have to approve that. Yes, this is the Night of the Long Knives MAGA edition. All right. They're going to crystal knocked up the entirety of all of the pro-Indian worker, all the pro-Indian worker tech bros. Basically, an H1B visa is a work visa that you can get to come into the United States, live in the United States, and eventually possibly get citizenship in the United States if you have a college degree and you are working in the field that college degree is for, right? So if you have a bachelor's or a master's degree in computer science, you can get an H1B visa to come and work in the United States in Silicon Valley and make a ton of money and, blah, 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 right? And these are good, all right? Already got the Nazi reference in, almost got a bingo. Well, we're going to get way deeper into it. I can say way more things about Nazis in here, okay? I got way more Nazi jokes than you could possibly imagine. Can you invite me now? I literally just started the segment. I messaged you. So, so H1B visas are good things. It is good when the United States can bring in more workers. This is the one thing I think, all right? I think this is the one thing that Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, and myself all agree on. We have a worker shortage in the United States. We don't have enough labor to fill in all of the gaps that we have, especially in the tech sector, or when it comes to, I think hospitality. I think also in farming, I think that there's a massive shortage of labor in that sector. So like all of these things probably be a good idea to bring in more workers. And the H1B program is a great way to bring in workers for more highly skilled work, right? Seems like a win-win. We get to, get people to come over here. We didn't have to, spend money putting them through elementary school, through middle school, through high school. We didn't have to spend money putting them through college. Then they come over here. They produce wealth for companies that are inside of the United States at no loss to the American public. Seems just like a really good trade. Seems like a really good trade. And then you have people coming to the United States to sell their labor here to actually, improve the United States economy here, as opposed to, them going and working for someone that is not the United States or possibly an adversary to the United States. This is just like a everybody wins kind of situation. But let's see why the rest of MAGA is super mad about it.
Foreign workers. Over the Christmas holiday, Musk posted this online saying, think of this like a pro sports team. If you want your team to win the championship, you need to recruit top talent wherever they may be. He later added, I'm referring to bringing in, via legal immigration, the top 0.1% of engineering talent as being...
MAGA says 0.1% of top engineering talent? Excuse me? But what if they're brown?
Essential for America to keep winning. He's talking about H1B visas, which allow employers to hire highly skilled foreign workers.
Wait, hold the fuck up. What is going on with these closed captions? Did they get the guy with fucking Parkinson's to type this one out? What the fuck is going on?
But encouraging offering more visas to highly skilled foreign workers. Over the Christmas holiday, Musk posted this online saying, think of this like a pro sports team. If you want your team to win the championship, you need to recruit top talent wherever they may be. He later added, I'm referring to bringing in, via legal immigration.
Think of the high-skilled white people? Well, that's the thing. In the United States, in the United States right now, we don't have enough people to fill the roles. That's why there are so many H1B visas. We don't have people that are qualified in the United States to come in and do those jobs. With an H1B visa, you have to show that you tried to hire inside of the United States first. You had to like show that you were trying to hire people in the United States before you apply for an H1B visa for someone to come in and take that job. Yeah, and there's a cap of 85,000 H1B visas per year. And that includes, I believe, if I'm wrong, correct me, but I believe that also includes the number that are renewed, right? Like that's the amount of total H1B visas that are allowed in the United States per year? Or is that 85,000 new ones? Because I don't think that's the case. I don't think so. Well, let's check. How many H1B visas or workers in the U.S.? That'll tell us right here. Number of H1B visas issued each year is capped at 65,000. Oh, that is more because they had 309,000 requests for continuing employment under the visa program. So we're looking at, that was in 2023, less than 1% of the population. Okay. It's actually insane that mainstream news is now discussing Elon Musk's tweets as if he is in any way an elected official. Imagine it during the Obama years, Bill Gates tweeting about government policies like this. This is not normal. No, it's not normal. I think that one thing that I was arguing against for the longest time, and to a like broad extent, I would still argue against the idea that we live in an oligarchy. I don't really believe that, but I believe that we're like seeing the beginnings of something like that with Elon Musk and Veev Ramaswamy and what the 12 or so other people that are named as either cabinet positions or like junior cabinet positions. Like there's like 12 actual billionaires running the government now, you know, which is so ironic because I thought that the populist movement was about like getting the elites out of Congress, out of the government, right? But anyways, let's keep going.
1% of engineering talent as being essential for America to keep winning. He's talking about H-1B visas, which allow employers to hire highly skilled foreign workers. Musk, who himself is from South Africa, said that he once had this kind of visa, and he's arguing that Silicon Valley is facing a shortage of excellent engineering talent, as he put it. But the annual cap on those kinds of visas right now is at 65,000, with another 20,000 for those who get a master's or a doctorate in the U.S. Musk is being backed up by his partner in Trump's government efficiency initiative, Veev Ramaswamy. He says it's a cultural issue that there aren't more competitive engineers in the U.S. Here's what he said online. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. A culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World or Zach and Slater over Scream.
Jesse in YouTube chat says, replacing lazy, overpaid American tech workers with hardworking, cheaper labor from India is America First position. It makes us more competitive on the global stage against China. Well, see, I like even to that point, I don't think that you can issue, and we can look this up after this video here, but I'm pretty sure that you have to go out of your way to prove that you tried to hire like an American citizen before you apply for an H-1B worker, you know?
Greach and Saved by the Bell, or Stefan over Steve Urkel and Family Matters will not produce the best engineer.
Oh, hold up. This is also unfortunately, I don't know why. I don't know why Veev Ex decided to put this out, okay? I don't know why Veev Ex decided to put this statement out, but please just listen to our incel king, Veev Ramaswamy.
And Trump's government efficiency initiative, Veev Ramaswamy, he says it's a cultural issue that there aren't more competitive engineers in the U.S. Here's what he said online. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. A culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World or Zach and Slater over Screech and Saved by the Bell or Stefan over Steve Urkel.
I can't remember if it's in this video or if it's in the next one we're going to go over, but someone says, it sounds like someone got stuffed into a locker one too many times as a kid. And I can't believe someone would put out a statement like this, like unironically, thinking that they are going to get comments like that, you know? This is a good source for H1B employers. Well, I'm not an H1B employer, so I'm not going to click on that link right now.
And Family Matters will not produce the best engineers. But that argument is not going over well with Trump's MAGA base, certainly not online. Some of them saying, we did not ask them to engineer an immigration policy. Tech wants indentured servants, not high-skilled workers. You don't even know what MAGA immigration policy is. Now, Trump himself, who I should note restricted H-1B visas in his first term.
Also, I just want to bring attention to Ann Coulter, of all people here, saying this. American workers can leave a company, imported H-1B workers can't. Tech wants indentured servants, not high-skilled workers. Like, they can leave the company if they want to. Nobody is going to throw them in jail if they aren't working at that company, first off. Second off, the idea that they're importing these people and they're indentured servants, and that the dichotomy is brown people coming in are indentured servants and the American workforce are the high-skilled workers. Like, a company's not going to hire a bunch of people who are shitty at the job that they want them to do, especially something that involves, you know, something in Silicon Valley, okay? They're not going to bring in people that are shitty at the job just because they're Indian and they just fucking love diversity or anything like that. They want to do what is going to be the best for their company. They're going to bring in people that are going to be the most skilled in their field, which is why they're bringing these people in, because we don't have enough people who are skilled in that field in the United States for, you know, how many positions are open.
Now, Trump himself, who I should note restricted H-1B visas in his first term, has said on the campaign trail this time around.
They limited the H-1B visas, even though they said, oh, well, we just want people to come here legally. We just don't like illegal immigration. Anyway, we're going to, you know, kneecap the job market in the tech sector by limiting H-1B visas. That's what we're going to do, because we love our economy and we hate illegal immigration. So we're going to limit legal immigration.
That he did want to make it easier for educated foreigners to work in the U.S.
Okay, and I'm trying not to respond too much to chat right here because I'm trying to do things in a more organized fashion. But that was actually a troll comment I made. What we need to do is educate our own people. Student loan forgiveness for anyone who gets what's deemed an in-demand degree. I think that could work. We do need to like invest more in education. I'm not going to argue with you on that. I think that student loan forgiveness is, especially for like a, I don't think that that's necessarily going to be the way that we need to go about doing this. I don't think that that is the, correct way to go about things, because student loan forgiveness for people that are going to be making $100,000 per year is just probably not the way that we need to do things.
What I want to do and what I will do is you graduate from a college, I think you should get automatically as part of your diploma a green card to be able to stay in this country. And that includes junior colleges too. Anybody graduates from a college, you go in there for 2 years or 4 years. If you graduate or you get a doctorate.
Can someone explain to me why, like, the green screening yourself in the Situation Room while you're talking to the president-elect seems like awfully presumptuous. Here, Christian Tate, I will message you.
Doctorate degree from a college, you should be able to stay in this country.
My political sources tonight are former New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, CNN political commentator and Republican strategist Shermichael Singleton, and also CNN economics and political commentator Catherine Rampell. And Catherine, you have covered this issue for a long time. Can you just lay out what we're looking at here in this divide between what Elon Musk says he thinks would be the best for the United States and why we are seeing something that we have not seen, frankly, almost at all lately, which is a lot of people in the MAGA universe outright disagreeing with him, arguing with him, and breaking with him online?
So Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy in this particular case, I think, are exactly right. America's ability to attract talent from around the world is basically our economic superpower. The fact that, in particular, we've been able to attract high-skilled immigrants quite reliably in this country over the past century or so is why we have this enduring leadership in science, tech, and business. So just as an example, of all Fortune 500 companies, about half of them were founded by immigrants or the children of immigrants. And of the Nobel laureates, American Nobel laureates who have received prizes for the hard sciences this century, about 40% of them are immigrants who came to this country. So again, this is our superpower, and I'm very glad that Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy recognize it. I very much hope that they are able to influence Donald Trump on this particular issue, but I'm doubtful about it because, just as you mentioned, in his first term, Trump was actually quite hostile to legal immigrants, in particular, by the way, high-skilled legal immigrants. He made it really hard for them to come here, not just those who wanted work authorization, international students who cross-subsidized American students, by the way. He basically harassed them and made it very difficult for them to keep their legal documents in order. That's because, as much as Trump has said, he only objects to illegal immigration, he's very much in favor of legal immigration. His policies don't bear that out, and that's partly because Stephen Miller is the one who was the architect of Donald Trump's immigration policies last time around, and will probably do so again this time around, and is unlikely to adopt the sort of Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy view of things.
Yeah, Stephen.
Why do Americans forget the adage "nation of immigrants"? Well, people still want to hold on to that idea of like, oh yeah, no, we like everyone wants to come here because we have the most opportunity. But for some reason, Republicans like get this idea that like they can simultaneously say people want to come to the United States because it's the land of opportunity, but then they also want to say like everyone comes here just because they can take advantage of our welfare state. And you can't have that both ways. Like, are they coming here for opportunity or are they coming here for handouts? I guarantee you the people that are here on the H1B visa program, these people are here for opportunity. You're not going to come here and work in Silicon Valley and then, need to be on welfare. It's just not going to be a thing that you're going to need to worry about, One of the most concerning things is that America creates the largest number of PhDs but has the fewest native PhDs. Well, we just have to incentivize those people to stay, right? Maybe we shouldn't say we're going to kick out everyone that isn't a citizen immediately, or we're going to deport 1 million people per year that aren't citizens. Maybe we shouldn't do that.
Miller's getting a huge job in the West Wing. He's been around Trump for the 4 years he was out of office. And Shermichael, as the Republican here, I wonder what your view on this is, because this is happening within the Republican Party. I mean, these are two top advisors to Trump, the MAGA world, who are kind of framing this as the true believers, who say, we asked for stricter immigration policies. That didn't mean coming with a carve out for high skilled workers that they say are taking American jobs here.
Yeah, look, I think with all due respect to Mr. Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, they should focus on saving federal dollars for the taxpayers and not immigration policy. I understand some of the points that Catherine made, and I agree to an extent, but I think the U.S. should focus more on domestic skill development. Studies also show that H1B1 exacerbates employers hiring individuals from outside of the country when they could potentially hire minorities, for an example, which we know there's a shortage in the STEM fields. There are a significant number of Americans who I think would love opportunities if they had the proper training and skills to operate in those jobs.
Yeah, but we don't. So we have the H1B program. And even if we did, it would still be good to have the H1B program in case we needed more labor. Like, just because you have something doesn't mean that you don't want more of that thing. Like, if we just look up a supply demand curve. That's not super tiny. Open image in new tab. Like, labor and cost of labor and wages, all of these things are just a supply and demand curve, right? If this is where the equilibrium is before and we're paying more because this is higher on the price, right? If we increase the supply part of the graph, then the prices for that go down, right? If we have a very high demand, but not a lot of workers, then the price is going to go up, right? It's just supply and demand. It has nothing to do with whether or not we ought to do one and not the other. We can do both. We can actually increase the training that we give people here in the United States, and we can, guess what, still use immigrant labor for things like the H1B program, which seems to be only a benefit to the United States.
Fairly well. So why not start and focus there? I'm not of the support or mindset, Caitlin, that we should let in more than the 60,000+ that were already letting into the country. Do we have some deficits? I certainly understand that point, again, to what Catherine was sort of alluding to. But I think by focusing on increasing domestic skill development, you can decrease the furtherance of those deficits by virtue of saying, you know what, we're going to spend more of our time, more of our dollars educating our own citizens to compete for these jobs versus saying, let's increase to 100,000 or maybe even more for employers to bring in individuals from India, which is a predominant country where many of them come from.
I wonder what the breakdown is of remittances from H-1B holders. Well, it doesn't really matter. My understanding of remittances, meaning people who come to the United States and then send the money that they make here to people in their, native country, like that doesn't hurt the United States at all, like whatsoever, because at the end of the day, those US dollars, they can't be spent anywhere that doesn't use the US dollar to, as their currency, right? They'll give the US dollars to the currency exchange place, and that currency exchange place probably has those dollars exchanged so that they can be used to purchase things in the United States, right? And on top of that, they probably also use that money to invest in things in the United States as well. Like, this isn't like remittances, I don't think hurt or help the United States. I think it's just a thing, right?
I don't agree with that at all. And I think folks in the MAGA world have every right to be angry with Vivek and Elon Musk.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting point because I saw that argument being made, but also I saw Mark Cuban, Mr. Mayor, responding to that saying, well, and I think we have what he had posted, quoting to Elon Musk and Vivek, saying, well, everyone, argue college is overrated. If you're arguing we need to have more homegrown engineers, don't we need more kids who are going to college? I mean, I think he's being a bit sarcastic there, but that is kind of the dual arguments that you see sometimes from this.
BRICS currency any day now.
Look, I see a couple of things going on here. First of all, I have to say I agree with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. I think they're pointing out the reality that we're living. You could say, and I hear Michael's point, I disagree with it, though, because I think it misses the fact that we want to get to the place where we can maximize the use of our own talent in this country. Let's bring in the best and brightest from all around the world. Let's really make our economy stronger. Let's become even more tech dominant. That's the way, in fact, to elevate the whole country and to create more opportunity for Americans of all kinds in the tech field. So I don't know why on earth we wouldn't want to grab all the talent out there, especially because if we don't, our competitors will. I think it's also fascinating that we're seeing this kind of open conflict. I think it's going to be the first of many. And of course, that speaks to the question of Elon Musk's role. I think really soon we're going to see more divergence between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. It's natural, given each of them having the power they have. I think that's going to be a very, very important storyline in 2025, that these two people who appear to be allies but really have very different interests start to diverge issue by issue. We saw it also during the recent budget fight. I think we're going to see it on issues like artificial intelligence and climate, where Musk has been in a different place than Trump. That's going to have ramification for how successful Trump can be in general. And then finally, I mean, look for the MAGA world to be turning on their own this quickly. This is also an interesting question.
Eating each other alive. Gnawing at those above them so that they can get a taste of that sweet, sweet Trump cum, just so they can get just a little sippy sip so that they can be the one to replace Elon as Trump's #1 lapdog.
Almost look like Democrats here. It's like, so I say this lovingly as a Democrat, like we have an ability to eat our own very quickly sometimes. Well, this is fascinating. Here are these heroes just a few minutes ago, and they say one thing that a lot of the MAGA world disagrees with, and suddenly they're being villainized. That's not good for that coalition.
Yeah, I think that's interesting in terms of what the West Wing will look like, too. I mean, Elon Musk is not coming in, Catherine, but in an official capacity, but he's in the room. He's always at Mar-a-Lago. Trump jokes about how he's always often there. He has dinner with him regularly. Between that and the tech moguls who have been parading down to Mar-a-Lago and also have dinner with him, I wonder what that looks like with this divide that is so clear between Stephen Miller and what he has been advocating for and what we know he did in the first term, and what this looks like with a new big advisor in Trump's ear like Elon Musk.
Trump seems to listen to the last person he heard from. So if that is Elon Musk, it might be Elon Musk. If it's Stephen Miller, and as you point out, Stephen Miller will have a very powerful job in the next administration, it's probably going to be him. Frankly, I don't think Trump pays all that much attention to the nitty-gritty policies that are taking effect under his watch, which is probably why he doesn't even realize that last time around, he did a lot more to reduce legal immigration than illegal immigration because Stephen Miller was running the show. But, I think that whatever Trump says he wants to do, the actual people who are executing the policy at the end of the day will be making the decisions.
All right. And now I think it would be interesting, just as a fun little exercise in what's going on in right-wing Twitter. Let me just move this over here. Let's see here. These are not organized in any specific way, but it's just a couple of tweets. Just a couple. Actually, before we look at the tweets, nope, never mind. This is paywalled, so we're going to look at the tweets. Should do short stream. I will start the short stream after this, because I think that this is going to be the only segment that we have time for today. Everything after this will just be memes. All right. So Vivek, Mr. Ramaswamy. This is his effort post. Trump even warned Elon. Uh-oh, we have a warning to Elon.
And no, he's not taking the presidency.
Why is this only, was this supposed to only be in my left ear?
And no, he's not taking the presidency. I like having smart people. You know, they're on a new kick. Russia, 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 Ukraine, 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 all the different hoaxes. And the new one is, President Trump has ceded the presidency to Elon Musk. No, that's not happening.
You can hear the fear in his voice. Oh no, they figured out. They figured out that Elon is the shadow president. Oh my goodness. What am I going to do? I don't know why that's my Trump impression, but... Uh-oh. Be careful, Elon.
But Elon's done an amazing job. Isn't it nice to have smart people that we can rely on? Right? Don't we want that? He's done a great job.
Okay. So this was Vivek Ramaswamy's response. The reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over native Americans isn't because of an innate American IQ deficit, a lazy and a wrong explanation. A key part of it comes down to the C word, culture. Tough questions demand tough answers, and if we're really serious about fixing the problem, we have to confront the truth. Let me see if hold on. Let's turn off our biased brains for a second, okay? Let's turn off the parts of our brains that truly detest every fiber of these fucking human beings, if we can call them that, all right? These MAGA people. Let's see if we can turn off the parts of our brains that are biased towards them and see if he says anything that's correct here. Our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long, at least since the 90s and likely longer. Everyone likes to choose like the point at which they were a kid and say that was the perfect time in America, right? Not realizing the difficulties of that time period, or like really any of the minutia that was going on at that time. I'm shocked Pikachu, the H1B visa were the first to get criticized. I'd imagine the right would have gone after the diversity lottery. Well, to be clear, the H1B visas, I know about those already because of the fact that even back in 2016, like right at the beginning of the Trump presidency, everyone was losing their fucking minds over H1B visa workers. They were losing their fucking minds over them. Now, I don't think that I'm an expert by any shadow of fucking thought, any semblance of, expert in this field. Not at all. But I will say it's been talked about more than enough for me to be aware of the fact that there is something called an H1B visa. The fact that everyone that's mad about them seems to really only care that they're taking jobs from, quote unquote, real Americans and giving them to, foreigners without understanding any of the economic aspects that go along with it for why we need extra labor in these different fields, or like what that gets us. It doesn't seem like anybody knows or cares that criticizes the existence of H1B visas. If there's one thing that we don't want to get rid of, it is the ability for America to attract talent from all over the world, right? If there's one thing that we don't want to do, it's get rid of America's number one superpower. Like that lady said, it's not just diversity. Diversity isn't the key word here, right? Diversity is cool. I like diversity. I'm not shit talking diversity, but that's not the number one concern when it comes to H1B visas. We're not DEIing in a bunch of Indians, from Mumbai over here just because we want to give ourselves a pat on the back. We're bringing in people from Mumbai because they're able to do things that we don't have the ability to, like, they have skills that we can't fill with people here in the United States. There's not enough people in the United States that have the skill set to do what we need to get done. So we're pulling in all the people from all over the world that have the ability to do this. They're not going to fucking Russia because Russia can't pay them enough. They're not going to fucking China because who wants to fucking live in China with all the fucking rules that they got, right? I'm also not sure if China wants a bunch of people. I'm pretty sure they're pretty, like, protectionist in a lot of their stuff. But that aside, like, we don't have to only pull from people in the United States. That's not saying that we shouldn't train people in the United States over this stuff, all right? That's not saying that we shouldn't train people in the United States on this stuff. It is good when we have the best, highest educated, best tech workers in the world. That's a good thing. And we should strive to be at the top of that game. But we're not at the top of that game. We still need the tech workers. So we're going to bring in more workers that are able to do that. Maybe if you want to invest in education and make it more widely available for people, maybe if you want to invest in education and make our educational, system more efficient and better at actually teaching people what they need to learn so that they can be productive members of society, maybe we could talk about that. That'd be a good thing to talk about, but just like saying, no more foreign workers for anything. We can fill those jobs with Americans. If we can fill those jobs with Americans, then why haven't we? Elon is full of shit. It's not culture. It's money. It was always money. It will always be money. Well, this is Veev Ex, not Elon. So I haven't read Elon's thing, but Acriel, if you want to link me Elon's thing, then please do. All right. Our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long, at least since the 90s and likely longer. That doesn't start in college. It starts young. As our next topic, Matt Gaetz, he would know a lot about young people, wouldn't he? A culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World, or Zach and Slater from over Screech and Saved by the Well, or Stefan over Steve Urkel in Family Matters will not produce the best engineers. And like that guy said, it sounds like someone got stuffed into a locker one too many times. It sounds like someone had someone comment on their pocket protector one too many times as a kid. Like this sounds like the beginnings of an incel fucking manifesto. Is this random trauma dumping? It's random trauma dumping, and it is fucking hilarious because of that. That's what it is. In parentheses, side tangent, fact, I know multiple sets of immigrant parents in the 90s who actively limited how much their kids could watch those TV shows precisely because they promoted mediocrity, and their kids went on to become wildly successful STEM graduates. That's a fact. That's a fact right there, guys. Not an anecdote. Not an anecdote. This is a fact that if you watch Boy Meets World or Saved by the Bell or Family Matters, you're mediocre. Get bent, Whitey. More movies like Whiplash, fewer reruns of Friends. More math tutoring, fewer sleepovers. More weekend science competitions, fewer Saturday morning cartoons. More books, less TV. More creating, less chillin'. More extracurriculars, less hanging out at the mall. Does he think that that's what the issue here is? Also, like the idea that, I'm sorry, like it's probably good, like more math tutoring is probably a good thing for kids, right? More weekend science competitions? Not sure about that. Yeah, what about podcasts, all right? What about podcasts? We need more podcasters in the world, all right? Be creative like that, okay? More creating, less chilling. Be on your grind set, kids, all right? No, but it feels like the idea that there's probably a nice middle point between turning your children into robots like this and, having them be well-rounded individuals. I'm pretty sure that the majority of Fortune 500 CEOs went to state colleges, not Harvard, not, Cambridge or anything like that. Pretty sure they went to state colleges or are from middle-class backgrounds for Fortune 500 companies. Because there's probably something more than just educational achievement that goes into success, right? What? But why would the billionaire be advocating for turning children into robotic workers that only know work and nothing else? I mean, I don't know, Acreal. Can you give me a good reason? It can only be for good reasons, right? Vivek giving off Skinner vibes?
Why, there are no children here at the 4-H club either. Am I so out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong.
True. Most normal American parents look skeptically at those kinds of parents. More normal American kids view those kinds of kids with scorn. But to see, here's the thing. The reason why they look at those kids with scorn is probably because they weren't like adequately socialized with their peers because their parents never allowed them to be. And again, educational ability is probably not the number one, maybe it is like the most correlated with, but maybe it's not the number one factor in actually becoming successful, right? If you grow up aspiring to normalcy is what you will achieve. Now close your eyes and visualize. Yeah, guys, everyone close your eyes real quick and start visualizing. All right, let's go on a journey with Vivek Ramaswamy for a second. Which families you knew in the 90s or even now who raised their kids according to one model versus the other? Be brutally honest. I'm going to be totally honest. People who I grew up with in high school who were like the biggest nerds are successful. There's also an ungodly amount of fucking retards. Like, actually, like, NPC, like, not having their own conscious experience level, like, not intelligent people that I knew in high school that are also successful. I don't know what to like say about this. Be brutally honest. That is the brutal honesty. You can be successful without being smart. It's just super true. Normalcy doesn't cut it in a hyper-competitive global market for technical talent. And if we pretend like it does, we'll have our asses handed to us by China. This can be our Sputnik moment. We've awoken from slumber. Oh, we've awakened from slumber before. Okay, we're gonna use the correct term here. We've awoken from slumber before, and we can do it again. Trump's election hopefully marks the beginning of a new golden era in America, but only if our culture fully wakes up. A culture that once again prioritizes achievement over normalcy, excellence over mediocrity, her nerdiness over conformity, hard work over laziness. Here's the ultimate black pill for these people, okay? Here's the ultimate black pill for these people. They thought that this is what Vivek thought that he was fighting for when he, chained himself to the Trump train. This is what Elon thought. Everyone, they just don't like illegal immigration. It's just illegal immigration that they don't like. No. This isn't a movement of people who are all actively, like solemnly and, knowledgeably putting their heads together to come to a better outcome that just happen to disagree with the Democrats. These are people that fucking hate the idea of immigration. They don't have a nuanced take on it because they don't have a take on it that doesn't come directly from Trump's mouth. They don't have any thoughts that didn't come directly from Donald Trump themselves. Yeah, relying on the con artist who was obsessed with popularity to usher in this nerd culture. Trump is pro-legal immigration, so that's just wrong. You didn't hear a word I said, Zolo. You didn't hear a word I just said. The entire point of what we've been talking about this entire time, reading Vivek's response here, is there's two distinct parts of MAGA, it seems. All right? There's two distinct parts of it. There's the tech bros, the Redditors, who think that this is all about fiscal responsibility and, you know, like ending illegal immigration. With people who are okay with illegal immigration. Yeah. And he's been raked over the fucking coals. Even conservatives agree with what I'm saying right now. Even people who are watching this play out are saying, oh, damn. But again, this isn't me bringing up a schism that's not happening in the Republican Party. Everyone is watching this schism in the Republican Party play out right now. The long story short here is the anti-Elon people in this debate care about race and white replacement. That's probably a good chunk of it. But they weren't anti-Elon until he said that he wanted, you know, legal immigration. Autism Capital. This person is not a left-leaning person. This is a right-wing account, okay? This is one of the tech bros. So basically, the right split into two factions, tech right and right. And the tech right is like, hey, we need H1B visa people to do the jobs. And the right was like, no, you need to hire Americans. And the tech right is like, but you guys are retarded. And the right is like, well, you don't train us. And the tech right is like, you can't out-train being retarded. And while all this is going on, we learned some people really don't like Indians. They believe America has the talent they need. If America had the talent that the tech companies needed, then they wouldn't be able to get H1B visas. Because you have to actually, you have to show the government, we have to show the government that you tried to hire American citizens first before you can get H1B workers. I don't really believe that. Which part do you not believe? Maybe that's the policy, but they're not enforcing it? Well, if you can show me that they're not enforcing the, like, you have to look for American citizens first thing, if you can show me evidence that people did that and just ignored it, then I guess I'll agree with you. All right. Tron, that's going to be the end of the segment, I think. I'm available to talk tonight. Elon sounding pretty woke. Let's see here. When did he tweet this? About an hour ago. Anyone of any race, creed, or nationality who came to America and worked like hell to contribute to this country will forever have my respect. America is the land of freedom and opportunity. Fight with every fiber of your being to keep it that way. Uh-oh, he's gonna get raked over the fucking coals. Unless they say the word asylum true. All right, that's going to be the end of that segment. And we have someone that wants to talk here in a couple of seconds. I'm just going to grab some water and we'll talk to him.